I feel like sometimes you can tell when a smaller watch company gets a new designer. See, I've never really been into Yema, and I've always found their designs just a little sort of outdated, generic, until I saw a photo of the new NavyGraf. So I had to reach out to them on IG, try to get a review unit. Unfortunately, I was basically told to go fuck myself. Well, when you look this good, I will open up my wallet and pay for one. So it's finally here, all the way from France. Let's see if this NavyGraf is any good. Hey guys, I'm Max and this is Watch Crunch. Watch Crunch is the everything app for the watch nerd, from discussions to wrist shots, from news to meetups. Now you can take your watch fam with you. Well, this is a good start. The travel case that the watch comes in is no frills, but it matches with the theme of the watch. And the watch itself is just as pretty as the pictures. Now, I am not an expert in color theory, but the dark navy blue on white with a lemon yellow accent just pops. The dial is matte and follows a pretty standard dive watch format with compound markers at the 6, 9, and 12. The yellow accents come in the way of the second hand, as well as a skeletonized GMT arrow tip. It's both professional looking, yet playful. As in, I wouldn't expect a professional diver to wear this at work, but I do see them traveling with it, maybe to a bachelor party. The watch's strong persona continues onto the case with angular lugs that meld naturally into squared off crown guards, kind of reminiscent of vintage Rolex subs. The bezel is sapphire lined and is a combination of navy and creamy white. It's really kind of fun and nautical themed. Does the NavyGraf GMT have the fit and finish to back up its $1,000 price? And that's after a 10% discount offered on their website. Well, how do I put it? It, I think, hits the mark, but doesn't leap over it. First, the good. The finish on the case is nice and crisp. It has long, polished bevels running down the flanks of both sides. The brushing is clean, and the bracelet is really well proportioned with a pleasant taper. They've even taken care with the small details. For example, each link on the outside is not flat, but kind of scalloped, which allows for a nice smooth drape. And you might now expect me to complain about a stamped clasp. But here it's actually nicely executed with a nice curvature and a positive closing action. But unfortunately, the bezel is a little bit of a letdown. See, it feels a little bit loose when you turn it, and the tactile sensation actually changes depending on how hard you push down on it while you twist, which just kind of makes you wonder if it's seated all the way. Not a great feeling. The other miss is more aesthetic, and it's the hands. No, not those pretty yellow pops of color, but the hour and minute hands. Now, I understand that these are not like the stars of the show here, but they're kind of generic, flat, rounded, and a bit short and stubby. I don't know, I'm not a designer, so I can't tell you how to fix them. I just find them, how do you say, unsubstantial? Guys, do me a favor, take a second, drop a like for this video, and for those of you who are subscribed, I appreciate you. What powers the Yema NavyGraf is what they'll tell you is the in-house Yema 3000 GMT caliber. Wait, Yema has in-house calibers? So I did a bit of internet sleuthing, and what I found is that this caliber is based on an ETA 2893 architecture. Now, if you know something different, please let us know in the comments, but that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. ETA, 29 joules, 42 hours of power reserve, accuracy of plus or minus 10 seconds. The only thing is, this is what's called a office or caller GMT and not a true traveler GMT, meaning it doesn't have the jump hour function, but you can still track up to 3 time zones utilizing the 24-hour bezel. The other thing I came across in my research is that not an inconsequential number of people complain about Yema's quality control and customer service. Now, my watch is fine, but if Yema is listening, I really hope that they take good care of their customers who run into issues, because Yema is still sort of a budding brand in the eyes of a lot of enthusiasts. Yema is a bit of an elusive name. They've been around since 1948, founded in France, and made a name for themselves in the 60s with the Superman dive watches, boasting 300 meters of water resistance. That was really good back then, better than the Rolex Submariner of the day. Their party piece was actually a bezel lock that kept it from moving once it was set. And that was important because if you remember, in those days, bezels didn't click and there was nothing holding them in place. But things quieted down for Yema after the quartz crisis of the 70s, and they were actually bought by Seiko in 1988. They were eventually reacquired and returned to French soil in 2004, and shortly thereafter, we got this sort of new renaissance for the brand. Now, some other standout models in their lineup includes the aforementioned Superman. Also, they have a rally racing chronograph and a newly introduced Urban Traveler integrated bracelet watch. They're even bringing out a new watch with their own in-house micro rotor movement called the Wristmaster. Looks like a potential hit from the pictures. Now back to the NavyGraf. Les pièces de résistance, as they say in French, it's its association with the Marine Nationale. Now you might be familiar with the MN if you come from the Tudor world, but having a watch that's gained the approval of the French Navy is no small feat and really elevates the significance of this piece for me with their professional diving heritage. There's even an elastic parachute strap in the box that matches the watch's colors and adds a bit of military vibe if you find yourself tired of wearing it on the bracelet. The NavyGraf, sitting at 38.5 millimeters wide, 14-ish thick, fits nicely on my 6.5-inch wrist. Now, some of that height is taken up by a double dome sapphire crystal, giving off vintagey distortions. And with the 46 lug to lug, it sits nicely thanks to female inlinks that don't add any additional length to the watch. I really think that Yema recently has sort of turned a new leaf with these new designs, and I can't think of a prettier summer watch to wear at the beach, on a boat, traveling, or even diving with 300 meters of water resistance. But guys, I want to hear what you think about Yema. What's been your experience? Is this like a controversial company? Let's continue the discussion on Watch Crunch. Go download the app today, and I'll see you on there. Take care.